Welcome back to the video series dedicated to helping you get ready for your midterm exam. It's time to move into Unit 3, so I'm going to click you over here. And again, on the screen from the visualizer and the lovely little document camera sitting on the desk, you notice that we're moving into problems from Unit 3. So we're going to be playing around with some discounts, both trade discounts and cash discounts. Looks like problem 11 is a chain trade discount. You've got 7%, and what you see on the screen is the idea of complement as it relates to each of those percentages. Remember, the problem we have is each of those percentages is applied to a different base. So if you want a one-shot deal, which is kind of, I think, my preference, we're going to write complements for the 7%, for the 5%, and for the 2%. And there you see the 0.93, the 0.95, and the 0.98 as complements for each of those percentages. To get one equivalent rate, then, you simply multiply those decimal bases. Be careful. Even though you got a pretty monstrous looking decimal there, 0.86583, please do not round that. All right, so whatever your screen display says, you're going to keep and use. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and find out what the net price is as a result of that chain discount. So that's the next step you see in your solution. We're taking the 0.86583 times the original price, or in this case, the $950 was advertised as list price. That'll take us right into net price. So as a result of that chain series of discounts, we're going to get that item for $822.54. Since this problem also asks for the amount of the discount, it's a clean subtract. Take your $950 list price and subtract from it the $822.54, which is our net price. And you will find that as a result of the chain discount, in this problem, we're saving $127.46. Not hard to do. Complements are a player. Don't round the equivalent rate. Use full screen display. 11's done and in the book. Let's move to 12. All right, problem 12 says guy gets an invoice dated on the 15th. It includes $250 freight charge. Remember, freight charges are not subject to a discount. Okay, so he's going to go ahead, and the terms are 410, 330. If he pays the invoice on the 27th, that's 12 days have transpired from 15 to 27. So unfortunately, he misses out on the 4% discount. He needed to be within 10 days. He fell a little bit short. But since he is within the 30 days, he still is able to get a 3% discount. So he does qualify the 3%. So what I chose to do first here was take out the 250, because it specifically says that that included the freight charge. So you remember there's no discount on freight. So we have to find out how much he is able to be calculating his discount on. So take off the 250 and realize that for the merchandise, it would have been a total of $5,000. That's what's subject to the discount. I chose to go ahead, and since it's a 3% discount, you see on the screen the complement of 3%, and that would help us find in one shot what it is that he's going to pay as a result of that 3% discount. So he's going to pay $4,850 because he was able to qualify for the 3% discount. But remember, he has to also pay the $250 freight charge. So we're going to add that back in to find his payment amount at $5,100. So to make a long story short, he was able to take the 3% discount, but he was unable to take the 4%. He did not pay fast enough. All right, moving to part B, same construct of the problem. Whoops. And what we're going to take a look at now is what if he makes his payment on May 21st? All right, so I first of all figured I should figure out how many days that is and find out what he's got in terms of discount possibilities. So, all right, if he pays on May 21st, there were 15 days to get him through the end of April. If you notice that, again, the original invoice was dated the 15th. So since there are 30 days in April, it would take 15 more to get to the end of April, and then 21 more days to get to May 21st, 21 days into May, I should say. So that's 37 days after the date on the invoice. And bummer for this cat in that he's past the 30. So he's not able to get any discount at all. And he will have to pay the full amount. And my cord got in the way here. And the full amount in this context is $5,250. So if he makes his payment on May 21st, that would be his remission, the full amount, $52.50. All right, that takes us through problem 12. Let's go ahead and switch out answers. We'll take a look at problem 13. crooked here. Try that a bit. There we go. Okay, so first of all, again, it looks like we've got a date issue in terms of what he does relative to his possibilities for the percentage discounts. So, all right, and we've got July 8th, and we're comparing that with a payment that's sent on July 22nd. So that's 14 days after the 8th. And to be eligible for the particular discount in this context, he had to be within 10 days for the 2%. So he missed out on the 2%. But if he's within 15 days, he can still get 1%. He just made it. He's on 14, so he does qualify for the 1%. And again, you see the complement idea helping us. So 1% kicks out to 0.99 as the complement. And in this context, we are trying to figure out how much credit he gets for that payment that he sends. All right, his payment is $485, but it's not really $485 because he's eligible for that 1% discount. So you wind up taking the 485 and dividing by the 0.99. In effect, you find out that the $485 payment is credited to $489.90 of what he owed as a result of that 485 payment. The problem then asks us to figure out what's his outstanding balance after he's paid that partial payment. If you remember, his outstanding balance to start with was $1,200. But he was able to get some of a discount, and that was $489.90. All right, even though his payment was only $485, it counted for $489.90 of what he owed. So his outstanding balance is the difference. So he still owes $710.10. And that's our final answer for problem 13. Let's move to 14. Again, most of the thing that you got to contend with on these problems is the days and the months. All right, so if you look on 14, the dates are referencing August 22nd, and he's going to make his payment on the 5th. So in terms of August on the screen, from 22 to the end of August is 9 days. If he makes the payment on the 5th, that's 5 more days. So he's making his payment within 14 days, and the terms were 3/15. So good news, he made it. He was within the 15-day window, so he does qualify for the 3% discount. And as previous, I chose to use the complement. So that's the 0.97 coming in. And you find out that all he's going to do is he's going to send these cats a check for 97% of $1,499, $1,454.03. There is no freight charge as it relates to this problem. So it was really, in essence, does he qualify for the discount or not? And the answer is he made it by 1 day. So he saves the 3%. Last problem on unit 3 relates to number 15. All right, invoice dated the 15th. All right, invoice has a $5,500 balance that includes a freight charge of $300. Terms at $410, $330, net $60. All right, the invoice is paid on April 29th. All right, so we're going to find out what happens in terms of the payment. Well, hey, from 15 to 29 is 14 days. So he's making the payment 14 days after the receipt. So he doesn't qualify for the 4%. That's a bummer. But he does qualify for the 3% because he is within 30 days. His payment is being made 14 days after the invoice. So we'll figure out what he's able to get as a discount based on the 3% saving. For again, so you're going to take off the freight charge. Remember, freight charges are not subject to discounts. So that's why you see on the screen 5,500 minus 300. So the amount that is subject to a discount is the 5,200. And the next part of what you see is the use of complement again. So the 0.97 is the complement for 3%. So he will pay on the actual goods 97% of the 5,200. That amounts to $5,044. And don't forget to add back in the freight charge of $300. And so he will be sending $5,344 as his payment, having qualified for the 3% discount, but having missed out on the 4% discount. That, my friends, wraps Unit 3. I'll be back soon with a look at the problems from Unit 4. See you then.